Good morning, friends. We are going to do a review on time and what we talked about last week. So I have my analog clock with me. So I'm going to have you pause this video right now and go ahead and get out your analog clock that you made in math last week. Okay, so just a quick review of what we talked about last week. This is called an analog clock. It actually does not tell time. It's not a real clock, but it's a model of an analog clock. And on an analog clock, you see this is the face of the clock, which shows the time. We have our minute hand and our hour hand. The minute hand on my clock is blue, and it is longer than the hour hand, which is red on my clock. Now you can see on my clock, my analog clock, that if I move the minute hand moves faster than the hour hand. Can you see that? As I move my minute hand, you can see the hour hand slowly moving to the next number. And that's how a normal analog clock works. As the minute hand moves, it moves faster, and the hour hand moves slower. Okay, and we also have a different kind of clock called a digital clock. So you can see my watch has a digital time. This is the hour, and then a colon, and sorry, it went out, then the minute after that. So that is a digital clock, and you'll find both those types of clocks in different places. So today we're going to be looking at our analog clock, and you're going to follow along with me, and we're going to make some times together. So we'll make some times on our clock, and then I'll give you a chance to look at some digital times, and you are going to make those on your clock as well. So right now, my clock shows 5 o'clock. The minute hand, when it's straight on the hour, the minute hand is going to be pointed straight up at the 12, and the hour hand is pointed straight at the 5. This shows 5 o'clock. Go ahead and make your clock say 5 o'clock as well. You can pause this video if you need to. Okay, now we're going to I want you to see if you can make 8 o'clock. Try making 8 o'clock. And again, you can pause this video if you need to go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm going to start winding my clock. And again, you can see as I move the minute hand fast, the hour hand is going slow. And so to make 8 o'clock, my hour hand, the red hand, needs to be pointed directly at the 8. And ta-da! The minute hand is pointed straight up at the 12. That says 8 o'clock. Now see if you can make 11 o'clock. I'm going to make 11 o'clock on my analog clock. I'm going to move my minute hand. Keep going along around the clock. I'm going to mention that I'm moving in a clockwise direction. That is the only way that the hands on the clock move. And ta-da! There is 11 o'clock. My hour hand is facing directly at the 11, and the minute hand is straight up at the 12. Now I would like for you to make 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, I would need to move my minute hand one time in a clockwise direction, and there is 12 o'clock. Now, here is a challenge question. Do you know the 2 names for 12 o'clock? There are 2 special names that 12 o'clock has. One is called noon, and one is called midnight. So if you said either of those, that is correct. So noon would be 12 o'clock would be in the middle of the day, which we're in school at 12 o'clock. We're usually at lunch. And then midnight is in the middle of the night. And that's also 12 o'clock. And that is when you are asleep. Okay, now I would like for you, we're going to look at some digital times. And we're going to see if we can make those on our analog clock. So here's our first digital time. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what time that says. I want to see if you can make that time on your analog clock. So go ahead and do that now. I'm going to move my clock around, and I'm going to make this time on my analog clock match my digital time. And there we go. That says 2 o'clock. Okay, the minute hand is pointed straight up at the 12, the hour hand is pointed straight at the 2. What do you usually do at 2 o'clock? I'm going to say p.m. And p.m. means at 2 o'clock p.m. it is in the middle of the day after you have lunch. So 2 o'clock, when we're at school at 2 o'clock, we are, let's see, usually getting ready to pack up and go outside for recess. That's what we're usually doing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 2 o'clock in the morning, which you think of that as the sun rising, but it's actually in the middle of the night. So hopefully you're sleeping at 2 o'clock a.m. or in the middle of the night. Okay, let's try a different one. Let's see what I have here. Let's try this time. See if you can match your analog clock to that digital time for me. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make my hands move around the clock until I get to where I need to be. Whoop. And there we go. There is 4 o'clock. I hope your analog clock says the same thing. Let's do one more. Let's try this time. Make your clock say the same thing, and here's my clock. That is 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock, the hour hand is pointed directly at the 6, minute hand pointed straight up at the 12. That's 6 o'clock. And right now at my house, it's almost 6 o'clock p.m., which means it's about time for dinner. 6 o'clock a.m., you're probably still asleep, maybe about to wake up for the day. But that is a good review of our clocks, and I hope you have fun learning more about time and telling time this week.